right, friends. We have an absolutely beautiful Maine fall day. High temperature of 70 degrees. The air is bone dry like air conditioning. There's a breeze. And it's comfortable just in a t-shirt. Thank you for walking with me today. Welcome to Woods Walk Gun Talk, number 28. We're going to be veering off into the woods up ahead and do some trail hiking. I'm going to be doing about 5 miles today. I slept 9 hours last night because I don't think I slept about an hour and a half Friday night into Saturday because we were going shooting Saturday morning. Excuse me, which we did. We had a great day shooting. I'll be talking about some of the things while shooting. I uploaded some new video to the channel from range day yesterday morning. I got a lot of things to talk about today with regard to firearms as well as politics. So if firearms and politics aren't your bag, you probably don't want to listen. Which is okay, it's a free country. I'm not monetized here on YouTube. Listen if you want to listen. Don't listen if you don't want to. But know that I will be your friend anyways. So today, a lot of times I enter the woods through my woods entry over here, which I think I will again. But I'm going to do a little bit of a different entry today, even though we're entering in the same place. I'm going to go through here. So anyway, this is Woods Walk Gun Talk number 28. And we are going to walk through the woods and have discussions. So, as far as gun talk goes, it's the left ramping up they're getting ready for the next legislative season. More than likely in your state as well. Maine here as well. I don't know what they're going to try to bring to the table this year. They had a success on 2 of the 8 gun bills they wanted to pass the last time for our first ever gun restrictions, which a lot of people are not happy about. One of which is a 72-hour waiting period to be approved before you can pick up your firearm. 72-hour waiting period. That's one of those things where you go buy your firearm, you do your background check, and they don't let you leave with it. You have to wait 3 days and then go back and pick it up. That is to reduce somebody spur of the moment spontaneously buying a handgun to kill themselves. And the argument seems to be like, well, what are you upset about? You already own firearms. Why should 3 days bother you? Well, it doesn't really. Other than having to go back and pick it up and going out of your way. If it's a gun store 60 miles away from you live and you were in there and you wanted to buy the firearm, well, you're not going to now. I know you're not going to. So that doesn't help some businesses. I know there is going to be a lawsuit filed against that, and there should be, for the next reason that I'm going to champion, which is that if you have never owned a firearm before, and you wish to buy one because some neighbor that weighs 200 pounds more than you has threatened to rape and kill you, and the police won't do anything about it because there's no proof of it, and you know, you want to get a restraining order, but it's on a weekend and you can't get anything done until the court's open. You called the police and they can't really do anything because that person denied it. And anyway, regardless, there are situations where women need protection that have never thought they would ever need one, and now they can't go exercise their constitutional right to defend themselves and arm themselves for 3 days. So personally, I would have had a loophole in that law at the very least. If you're a first-time gun owner, you should be able to buy one, but somebody wanting to commit suicide might be the first time they buy one. Don't even know how to use one. They just know it'll work. But basically the stats don't stand up to that. They just don't. Most people will overdose on sleeping pills, prescription drugs, they'll hang themselves. They'll do all kinds of other things other than use a firearm to commit suicide. People that already own firearms primarily make up the people that do commit suicide with firearms because they already have them. And there is a learning curve. So somebody that doesn't know anything about firearms, I just don't think it would be likely they would choose a firearm to do that. Not from stats I've read about anyways. And if you disagree with anything I say on my walking vlog, that's okay. Put your comments in the comment section. It's a free country. I'll certainly listen to what anybody has to say. I just have my own opinions. They're not all right, but it's what I believe. So that's what a vlog is. I can see chipmunks running around. Today is definitely feeling like a fall day today. Absolutely. It's going to be chilly tonight. You also know when it's fall when you end up getting a pumpkin. So we got a pumpkin. I got to carve a jack-o'-lantern, and I know it's only the first week of freaking September. I get it, but I love this season. And as you can see, it is a beautiful day. We have not had much rain, so much of this water is drying up. This is usually a little running brook here. Not today. So basically I end up walking in here where I end up. And we almost always go that way, so I'm going to go this way today. But I'm going to be walking all through here anyway. I may very well end up coming back this way. So anyway, Woods Walk Gun Talk number 28. We went shooting. Something funny happened with, well, actually not so funny, but something happened with my GSG 1911. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I like the pistol. I do like it when it runs the way it's supposed to. Generally speaking, it does. It can be what you call ammo picky, which I've gone ad nauseum over what that means. The short version of that is if you're not running the correct 22 LR in your semi-automatic handgun, it's probably not going to function anyway. Rifles are a lot more forgiving, but handguns you have to have over a certain amount of feet per second velocity to kick the slide back hard enough to pick up a round, and also hard enough to eject the spent shell casing. So in other words, if you use ammo that's too weak, cheap bulk ammo, or every other one is kind of weaker than the next, you get a lot of jambolinas. So anyway, and you can't always say, well, geez, you know, I'll just get good ammo, because we just had a really bad batch of Stingers. They were horrible. They didn't run in anything, rifle or otherwise. All of the shell casings bulged. There was something wrong with the tolerances and measurements of the rounds. They didn't chamber properly, and they were all bulging at the bottom where the rim was, because the rim wasn't sitting in far enough. So that was a bad batch of ammo, which does happen. But generally speaking, if you buy a half decent ammo, it's going to run good in semi-automatic 22 pistols, which is why I would rather have the Walther Colt 1911. We have one of those to shoot. Thus far, it has been flawless. It runs everything, even the cheap stuff. I'm incredibly amazed by that. And they make them in different variants, I guess you'll call them. Some are military looking, some are traditional Colt looking from the 20s. Some are, I guess, something for everybody. Some with rails, some without. If you want a Picatinny on there, put a Piccadilly. It's built in on the bottom under the frame, so you can mount a light. So, and they're right around 300 to 360. Now, I purchased my GSG for $279, probably was on sale. So it's like in the same ballpark for prices. I would recommend the Walther Colt. There's a video of it shooting on the channel recently, so be sure to check that out. I'll wait till we pass these people. Hi. So we'll head up this way on this beautiful fall, Maine fall day. We'll head up on this way. So what I was saying is it's a good pistol, and the GSG, I had issues with it. I just found one of the common problems it has, the hard way, is the pin that holds the bolt in the slide fell out at the range. Watching my video, I know where it fell out, but that doesn't really matter because it's gone. It was lost somewhere in the sand. It's never going to be found again unless they go through their dragon magnets. And from what I researched on the internet, there are many people that had the same damn exact thing happen to them. The pin wears out over time from servicing it. You have to, this is the unfortunate part of it, okay? The way they designed the firing pin and the bolt, it has to be cleaned at least semi-annually, okay? Maybe twice a year, but it does have to be cleaned. So the solution to not losing that pin, because what happens is, it's a pin that has one end of it knurled, so it locks into the hole you put it in. The problem is, and this is the beef I have given you in the past, is that the slide on the GSG 1911 is an aluminum alloy. It's a softer material. The hole wears out. So you have to knock that pin out of the hole where it's knurled, so it locks the pin in there. And over time, it's not locking the pin in there anymore because it's soft aluminum. So you have to use Loctite. You have to lock that pin in there because it just goes straight through the bolt to the other side of the rail. It has nothing to do with the firearm mechanically. It serves no other purpose other than to locking the bolt in place while you're shooting. So what happened is the pin fell out. I pulled the slide back and the bolt is sticking halfway across. It's just floating around free inside the rail, which obviously you can't have that. It's not going to eject anything. It's not even going to work. And that was after I had to take it apart and put it back together because I had fractured the firing pin. And I had also replaced the mainspring, which solved the firing problem, but the firing pin shattered, because these are also known to have that happen. That's happened to just about everybody that owns them, especially if you dry fire it, which you shouldn't do anyway. So what does this mean? Well, it means that the firearm is subpar in performance and quality. When it's running, runs good. It makes me happy. It's an accurate pistol, shoots great, but there you have it. But now the Walther Colt, on the other hand, the barrel is attached to the frame. It's not a floating barrel. It's a lot more accurate, and you can remove the barrel from the frame. There's a way to do that, but for all intent and purposes, it's attached to the frame while you're using it. It doesn't move around. And the slide is actually steel instead of aluminum. So everything about it is better right on its face. And it also runs, I'm going the wrong way, I gotta go that way. But I recognize that because of that bed here of somebody put some rocks on it. So it's one of those things that it's just a better quality. It feels better when you hold it, and more importantly, it cycles everything when you fire. That's the point. It's got a really good reciprocation action. Reciprocal. Anyway, after I'm done tripping on that word, we'll head on down this way. So for about the same amount of money, value for dollar, the Walther Colt is better than the GSG, hands down. And also other things I found out about the GSG is the early SIG ones had a polymer guide rod which was prone to break, and they're metal now, thankfully. That would have been another problem. And the pin that I lost used to be polymer as well, which used to fail and break. So they upgraded it to metal, but because it's an aluminum slide, while the polymer pin did not make the aluminum hole bigger, the steel pin makes the aluminum hole bigger. So what I did was I found the pin size online and stats for it. It's 3 by 22 millimeter, which means it's a 3mm diameter pin, and it's 22mm long. There's tons of 3x22 pins you can buy on the internet. There's tons that come knurled on one end. So this is going to be a mega easy fix. Big time. So I think I'll go this way. This is going to be a mega easy fix. So it's not a big deal. It's only going to cost about $5 or $6. In fact, I'm going to order a pack of 4 or 5 pins for about $5, free shipping. Stainless steel pins. That'll solve that problem. Not a big deal. But I did shoot a email to ATI Tactical, who distributes the GSG, German sport guns, for the German sport gun company, which I guess they no longer make these in the amounts they used to, but they're still for sale if you want to buy one new. So I should be able to get that pin. So I'll wait and see if they're going to say, okay, well, the pin is $12.95 and it's going to cost you $10 for shipping. If that's the case, I'm just going to get the stainless steel, because 3x22 is 3x22, and people online have already repaired theirs that way. So regardless, I can't use it until I remedy that, and well, I'll just have to wait, and I'll use one of the other GSGs we have. We have a California compliant one, which just basically means the threaded barrel, the end of it is not threaded. It has a cap that is permanent on there. I guess they don't want people to put a suppressor on it. So that's one of my firearm topics for today I wanted to talk about. The other thing is we have the mighty Ruger Mini 14. I shot that a bit yesterday. Absolutely in love with these rifles. And yeah, there's a lot of people that have bad things to say about it, and if you're one of those, that's understandable. A lot of that is factual. You know, AR-15 format is definitely more customizable, hands down, 1000% more than the Mini 14. Parts are easier to get, cheaper to get, much easier to mount optics. But I have a tactical stock on mine, which has rails all over the damn thing, so optics aren't an issue with the 580 series and higher. Mine's a 5812 series, made for law enforcement. It's a police trade-in. It just has a government barrel on there, which just means it's 18.5 inches long with a bird cage on the end, instead of the 16.2 inch commercial factory tactical models, which the tactical stock in my video that's on my profile, one of the latest videos I uploaded, you can see me shooting it from the side, so you get a full side view of it while it's shooting, and you can see me shooting at the target. So pretty cool rifle, extremely reliable, functional, and I have run an entire case of Tula steel case ammo through it with no issues. None of the casings expanded and got stuck in chamber like steel does sometimes. So kudos to Ruger for doing that. Some people have had issues once in a while with the Mini 30. Light hammer strikes. I haven't had any of that, because the Russian ammo uses an anvil type primer, which has to be struck more firmly. And a lot of people think they can modify their rifle by increasing the power of their hammer strike by messing around and installing a hammer spring that will increase how hard the firing pin strikes. Personally, I would not recommend doing that, because you're not going to be shooting exclusively steel ammo, steel case. And the other thing is I don't do that, and everything runs for me. I don't have any light primer strikes with my Ruger Mini 14. I haven't had one. I've personally put at least 2,000, maybe 3,000 rounds through it since I've had it, and it's had rounds through it before that. So I don't think that's the issue. So I've shot wolf, I've shot Tula, you know, that's another reason why people like the AK. Is at one time 7.62 by 39 was cheap as all hell to buy. Not so much anymore because of the Russian embargo, sanctions and all that. But you can still buy Tula 7.62 by 39 for about $8 or $9 a box. So anything runs good in an AK-47. Everything runs well. So we're going to look at the pond here. Drying up. It's drying up, folks. And we had quite a bit of rain for part of yesterday, but it's going to take a lot more than that to fill this back up. Traditionally, the water goes into the woods over there, and that bird feeder is above water. So that's how low that is. That water is probably getting pretty stagnant. If there's anything in there that breathes water. So we're going to go up this way again. Walking through the woods here in Maine. Clouds are blocking out the sun a little bit. I got enough time to finish my walk here before it gets dark. But I do know that the way this GoPro works, that in lighting like it is now when I'm walking, you're probably seeing some visual distortions on the bounce. And that's just how this thing works. So my apologies for that if that bothers you. Stabilizing feature. Actually does the same thing on the stabilizer for video on my phone as well. And that was another disappointing thing with the YouTube app, by the way. I could easily live stream my walks like this live on YouTube using my internet, and I experimented with that a couple times, and while my phone has a stabilizing feature in it, it does not translate into the app. So I put the stabilizing feature on and then live stream, and then I get home and watch it thinking everything would look good, and everything's like shaking around all over the place. So I would have to use a gimbal, and a gimbal can cost $150 for one that'll be effective, and I'm not spending $150 on that when I can just use the GoPro that's on my head already. That does a good enough job. If you get my point, I just can't live stream with it. I would need an external internet hookup, which it would be really nice if I could use the internet through my phone, which is in my pocket. and then just live stream with the GoPro through an app. I mean, surely there must be a way to do that these days anyways. But again, I'd be using the YouTube app to stream on YouTube, and the stabilizing probably wouldn't work there either. So, have no idea. Anyways, I did promise that I was going to start doing some live streaming from home to talk with people, and I haven't done it yet. My apologies. It's one of those things you got to be in the mood to do it, you know. And I'm not monetized, so there's really nothing to kick me in the pants to do it. I know that sounds bad, but you know what I mean. Now, there's always other things going on, and you know, you got to take an hour or two to do that. It's nice to talk with people, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people are going to ask me questions about firearms that I don't know about. They'll ask me about ones that I do know about. Right, that'll be fine. Maybe gun safety. I've learned so many things over the past few years, especially. And so anyway, I hope you enjoy the shooting videos on my channel I uploaded yesterday. I had a lot of fun, my brother and I. We had a really good day. We shot a whole ton of water jugs. I got a couple of videos I gotta still edit and upload for that. That's going to be a lot more cumbersome, a lot more tedious to do. We don't have a camera crew, you know. You got to record it, and you also have to shoot. So, you know, you can spend your whole day. It's like they cut a tree down here. Must have been a problem here for some reason. But there it is right here. They cut it down. So we will go down through this way. Excuse me. So, whew, all kinds of dust blowing around today. So we'll cut down through here, yonder this way. So I may kick up some live interaction with people. That may be a lot of fun. And there's always somebody watching too when you go live. So that's the other thing too. That would probably serve my channel a lot better to let them know that, you know, I'm a person and I care about them, and I just don't upload videos and that's it. But the future of internet is video for sure. Video content, video presentations, and that future's already here. That's the channels that get the most views have the most interaction with their audience with video. They do a lot of live chats. They have neon lighting behind them, American flag, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to have. So might actually do some live streaming from the gun room and have some gun stuff behind me while I'm talking. How cool would that be? I think that would be neat, actually. Yep. Ah, today is so perfect. You made another beautiful day, God. So a lot of these foundations here are just that. This is the foundations of the house and barn are from the Aussie Henry Osmond and Maple Wood Farm. Aussie remained on the farm after his father's death in 1913, running his father's dairy business and eventually the entire farm. So this used to be a milk producing building here, a farm. Somebody lived here. Obviously they had cows. Moo! That's why I like walking in this place. And like I've told you before, there's a lot of, you know, like rock walls. These stone walls here are border foundries to mark people's border on their property. And the Stanton Bird Club owns this property now. I think it was granted to them. Somebody that wanted to preserve it and not have a Walmart built on it or whatever. So we'll end up having a beautiful meadow like this instead of a Walmart. These little cocoa things, and you open these up, you can see it's got that white milky stuff. We used to call these milk plants because of that. I don't know what the hell they're called, but these things open up and you have these seed pods, and these dry up. They dry up, and these little silk-like things like this carry the seeds off. As you can see, there's a bunch of it right here. Like this. Hold this up, and we're going to help reseed. See that? Ain't that exciting? But we used to play with these when we were kids, so all these little pods. I don't know what the hell they're called, but if I remember right, somebody used to call them snake plants or something. But I don't know. I'm not a horticulturist. I do know something pretty when I look at it. So we'll head down this way. Hi everybody. Hi. We got ragweed down here, poison ivy. First part of this year, this place had tons of ticks. Right now it's pretty light in the tick department. Birds eat ticks. They eat a lot of ticks from what I've been reading. One of those seed pods will help distribute the seeds. There they go. Mother Nature right there. Specifically designed for a breeze to carry the seeds off and starts planting somewhere else. I mean, that is just brilliant. You could have a room full of engineers out of MIT and all these other places. Look at them, they're going all the way into the trees down there. If you don't take 2 seconds to appreciate stuff like that, then you're dead, you know? Oh, we'll head on down this way. Absolutely perfect. I think actually I'm going to have to clean up my memory card. I think. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Actually, I think it'd take a second right now because I don't think I cleaned up my memory card. All right. We're back on track. I did have the memory card cleaned up. Anyways, I'm back. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to swap over to a little bit of politicking. We now have had about a week, a little over a week, to absorb Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Wes Walz played for the Boston Bruins, hockey player. Okay, also from Minnesota, by the way. There's a lot of walls in Minnesota. So anyways, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris did a sit-down interview, pre-scripted, edited, not live, whatever you want to call it, on CNN, and she didn't do well. She's not a very likable person, and she's not going to be likable no matter what she's in. And now the new polling today shows that. And to tell you that the Democrats are panicking is an understatement. Kamala Harris is now trailing Donald Trump in the national poll. And not just by any company, okay? This is the same company that was putting Kamala Harris 5 or 6 points ahead of Trump a month ago, or less than a month ago. So this one TV interview has sunk her down in the polls by 5 or 6 points. It's been a lot of her rhetoric on censorship online, on the internet. She has said a lot of other things about government price controls. And, you know, the best way to not look like a communist is to not sound like one when you're speaking. And she's not doing very well at that. Because you can't take the Kamala out of you can take the Kamala out of California, but you can't take the California out of Kamala. So she has dropped 6 points with the New York Times Siena poll. This is the same poll 3 weeks ago I told you was cheating in favor of Kamala over Trump. And they still are, okay? Make no mistake. They absolutely loathe Trump, okay? They don't want him to win. So if their poll has Trump ahead by 1 point, Trump's ahead by more than that. So this has been a disastrous result for her TV interview on CNN. She didn't look presidential, she didn't look intimidating, and all I could see is, do I want that sitting across the table talking to Putin or Xi of China or somebody from Iran? No, you know, she's a joke. Everybody knows she's a joke, but you know, they've been trying to hide her because they know she's a joke. She's gonna have to come out and talk to the public. 2 days from now, we're gonna have a national debate that I am sure millions of people are gonna be watching. And a lot of people are saying, don't underestimate Kamala Harris. I heard that from what I read online, okay, a couple of aides supposedly have leaked. I haven't been able to confirm this, so like I said on this channel always, I don't want to spread misinformation. All right, I like to have my information and then confirm it. So I'm not saying this is exactly what happened, but she has been training and practicing for the debate. That's not arguable. She has been. But what I heard was that she has full studio lighting, and they even hired somebody that is somebody that impersonates Trump, and they're having her debate Trump for practice runs. And the reason why that's not going to work is I have never seen a Trump impersonator be exactly like Trump. They do a cartoon version of Trump. So, you know, they're going to have some of the same similar talking point things, but they're not going to behave the same way, react the same way, because there's only one Trump. So make no mistake, they are deathly afraid of this debate, because if they don't do well on this debate, it's all over for her like it was for Biden. And I don't think she's going to be able to be strong enough on these issues. She's going to use general talking points. And I guess the Trump strategy, from what I have been reading from the Trump camp, is that he's planning to be calm, reserved. The mics are going to be shut off when he's not talking. And I'm wondering if they're going to play dirty tricks on Trump, like leave his mic on when he thinks it's off. You know? So we'll see what happens. 2 more days. Tuesday night. It's actually less than 48 hours, I think. This is going to be good, folks. I have to check it out. And if Kamala does not get destroyed by Trump in this debate, she sure as hell isn't going to win this debate. Not much is going to change. So, which still helps Trump, if you know what I'm saying. So, and it's one of those things where the Kamala campaign has not said that this is going to be the only debate they do. We're not going to go look at Whale Rock today. I'm just walking down there and I got to come back. So I am going to head up this hill. This is a good workout, walking up this hill. So regardless of what happens, Trump will still be in a favorable position. And the other thing that was acknowledged by the media this week, finally, is what I've been telling you for a month now, and everybody knows it, the media just wouldn't admit it, is that Kamala is underwater. Well, let me rephrase that. She's not underwater in solid blue states. She is underperforming. It's a big difference. She's still leading in those blue states, but she's behind where Biden was in 2020. And Hillary Clinton, who supposedly made a decent showing, but she was also unfavorable of an opponent for the Republicans. Trump beat her, we all know that. So Kamala is polling under what Hillary and Biden polled in the blue states. So either, what I think is, there's more of a surge of red voters, people that are getting tired of the far left woke politics. They've seen what's been happening in Europe and Canada, and they don't want that to happen here. So that is something I think Americans are waking up to at the right time, which is good. And so there's been a lot of Democrats in denial online, saying that what I just said isn't true. But all of the Trump-hating magazines have been reporting that online, that Kamala is underperforming. Because she is. And now in the New York Times Siena poll, Trump is leading her by 1 point for the New York Times. So a lot of people in this country really didn't know much about Kamala Harris because they don't eat, sleep, drink politics all the time. And then they researched her, and now her numbers are going down. Plus of the things she's been saying. She's been saying crazy things. Everything about gun control to a whole bunch of other stuff. She was talking about mandatory gun buybacks, saying she would sign an executive order because Congress doesn't do anything. That is dictator stuff. That's something that's never going to be allowed in this country, for one thing. She may as well be autographing a tampon box for Timmy tampons. He'll have about as much judicial authority as that. So people like her are scary, and you know, they think those are good things to say, and they're going to get people to vote for them. They want to do something about guns. Well, they're completely negating the Constitution, and she's coming across as being a communist, because she is one. Her dad was a Marxist. I also found out today that you're going to think this is funny, but the name Kamala in Finnish translates as death. So the Finnish language is kind of strange. All of the K words are bad words. Kuolema, I think, is one of them that means death or dead. But anyways, we'll get up here to our bench. I'll take out my selfie stick. I'm sure that'll make you happy. And see my ugly old mug. I just want to say hi. Whew. I made it up here. I made it up and I didn't die. All good. Alright, be right back. Alright. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, as I sit here on a bench, sit out a little bit further. Anyway, how you doing? We are sitting here enjoying a beautiful day in Maine. Absolutely perfect. And I hope you are enjoying your day as well. Okay, turn this a little bit. There we go. And yep, so you know, things have changed a lot within the last 3 weeks politically. Kamala finally stuck her head out of her hole and spoke to the world, and people got to hear her in a sit-down interview that was edited. And the Kamala campaign had requested about 40 minutes of that interview not be aired. So she obviously did not have her crap together, and she looked terrible. They only aired 18 minutes. 18 minutes of that interview was enough to sink her now being behind Trump. These people are bad. She's a terrible candidate, and that's just the fact. That's the fact of that, Jack. So anyways, I'm going to sit here on this bench for a second, just so I could talk. And I just wanted to say thank you for walking with me and enjoying the walk. I guess we'll get up here. I don't want to sit down too long and have my sweat dry up, but I'll just carry the camera like this for a little bit. This selfie stick is not made for a GoPro, so hopefully it'll stay seated in it. And I'm gonna walk a little ways like this. But like I said, you know, have patience. The reason why this is all good is both Biden and Hillary were both 7 to 9 points ahead of Trump at this point, right around early September. And she's actually behind. So things are going to get worse for her before it gets better. And we're going to go on for the ride. And boy, that guy, Alan Lichtman, you know, he's famous for predicting election results. He has been predicting Kamala's going to win. He has all these different keys, and he's just wrong on so many of the keys. He's looking at it through a different, entirely different point of view. He doesn't consider what's going on in Israel and Ukraine as a war that we're involved in to affect the election. I'm like, what? What? And he also says Kamala is not an incumbent. She's an incumbent. She's the vice president of the United States. Okay? Biden wasn't doing well either when he was the candidate. So this guy is going to get served up a loss. He's lost a couple times, but he sticks with his keys no matter what. He says there's no internal social justice issues tearing the country apart. I'm like, what? Do you mean race riots, or do you mean an open border with immigrants raising crime up all over the place? People are not happy about that. So he's wrong on that also. So a lot of these people have Trump derangement syndrome. He hates Trump. I've said it a million times. You see Bill Maher on TV, moderate Democrat. Most of the time he sounds sane until he starts talking about Trump. And then he sounds like a complete idiot. I mean, gone. It's like, the veil goes up, goes down, instant moron. So that's what Trump derangement syndrome does. You know, really strange. It's really strange. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and walk with you and say hi. And I don't like to do selfie streaming too long or too often, but you are not going to be able to see it from here today because of the clouds. But typically, right up through there, you can see Mount Washington, which is why this lane was cleared. And in the winter time, you can see the snow cap on it. We'll be able to see that soon. Today, not so much. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi. Thank you for walking with me. It means a lot. And make sure you go vote. Grab anybody you know that doesn't usually vote and have them go vote for Trump. If you're tired of all this indoctrination of kids in schools, Trump wants to clean that up, get rid of that neo-Marxist ideology junk, and defund the schools that support it. He'll have the authority to do that. So of course he's going to have a lawsuit for everything he does, but what else is new, right? He'll probably win on him. And anyway, thank you very much for walking with me, and we'll continue on with you on my head right here where you belong. So see you shortly. All right. That's a pretty good shot up this way, like I was saying. But yeah, typically you can see Mount Washington right straight up through there in New Hampshire in the White Mountains. So now we're going to head down this way. Hopefully you're enjoying your day as I am. And make sure I got my stuff and I didn't lose anything. Somebody walking down this way, shuffling around with their feet there. What'd they do? Lose something? Go up this way. Actually, I'm gonna go down this way. So go through here. I like going down this way. And then we'll come up by that pond again. I'm basically getting to the same place, but going the long way. So I do love this place. So I saw online there was a lot of Democrat voters who feel like they're winning, and they're starting to realize they're not, and they have been pumped so full of hype because the media is and the polling companies are trying to create another Obama kind of vibe and feeling where, you know, it's going to become like an in thing to support Kamala. And people are realizing she's just not a good candidate. A lot of people were surprised when Biden picked her for a vice presidential candidate because, you know, she's definitely not ready for that type of environment. And She spoke a few times in 2021, and she was so terrible that they hid her away, and she hasn't spoken publicly since. So she's disappeared. The American public doesn't know anything about her. But they didn't think Biden was going to drop out. So, you know, he did. And she was available. So now they have to push her out there. And you can't have the first vice president that is a person of color sidelined by your own party because they don't think you're good enough. Because they're all about DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion. So they had to prop her up, and now they're paying for it because she sucks. And it's not because she's a person of color or because she's a woman. She's from California. She's a freaking communist. She sucks. It's pretty simple. And that's why. Between now and the election, she's not going to do well. She's not. And you know, we don't know what kind of October surprise is going to pop out either. We don't know if the October surprise was the assassination attempt on Trump. We don't know what's going to come out. I do know that they're going to try to take Trump out. I don't mean killing him. They already tried that. And I'm firmly convinced that was not some conspiracy. That was a lone lunatic. And, but, you know, Trump is going to be bringing Elon in. They're going to be cleaning up government waste. They're going to be cleaning out all of these three-letter agencies. Elon Musk, when he took over X, fired hundreds of employees, and X is running better than it ever has. So that's the plan on what they're going to do, I think. Hi, how you doing? Not too bad. So I think there's going to be a lot of that going on. And we came in this way. So we're going to walk on up the hill up there. And our last walk through here, this is where we saw 3 deer, if you remember. It was right here, actually. They walked right through here. So that was pretty cool. So we're going to walk on up this way. So, you know, the bottom line is she's just not a good candidate. And, you know, that's just going to show. People are going to get that sense from the debate, too. Now, the thing is we don't know if the questions were leaked to her or not. We don't know what tactic she's going to take. I do know she's going to spend a lot of time being combative to get under his skin. But she's going to do it not in a way like she's being mean. She's going to do it in a condescending way. Perhaps jokes about being a felon. She's going to say that stuff. And Trump needs to ignore that. Because if she's doing that, that's all she's got, you know? So the whole world will see what happens. We'll see. The whole world's going to be watching that pretty much. Trump's been there before. He's not intimidated by that. Kamala, this is, you know, she's officially in the big time. After being hidden away and coddled and told how great everything is, don't worry about it. So, all right, I see a couple of people up here. I'll be quiet. Hello. So we'll head down this way, and we'll go back down the way I came in, or we came in, just through here. Actually, we didn't. We came this way. Took a different route. So we'll go the way we usually come in on the way out. Yeah, so I got to tell you, we are in some crazy times. And that Professor Alan Lichtman, using his formula he uses with his 13 keys, you know, it's just completely ridiculous. At least 3 of those keys you can remove on their face, and they actually go into Trump's column. Trump's winning this election. He is going to win this election. Kamala is underwater, like I said, in the blue states. Not underwater, underperforming. She's behind Biden by at least 5 points in most of the solid blue states. The states that a Democrat's going to win no matter what, Kamala is behind both Hillary and Biden. And you're going to tell me with a straight face that she's tied in the battleground states? Come on, really? So she's behind the mark everywhere except the battleground states. That's when you know the polling is completely screwed. They're cheating, and that's okay. Let them cheat. Obviously the public's not buying it. The media keeps pushing these polls while they're talking. Today Kamala leads by, and she's not leading. And the people are tuning out the media. They know the media's in the tank for the Democrats. They proved that during COVID. They sided with Big Pharma, pushing the jabs, creating this whole COVID narrative, when basically today, you know, people under 30 years old, it was 0.0003 of 1% that young people actually had problems with COVID, which is about the same numbers as the flu. COVID affects elderly people much more. It's more of like a severe flu. Something definitely something to try to avoid. But all the propaganda they ran about, you know, if you get vaccinated, you won't spread it to other people, do it for grandma. All these people were lied to. That just simply on its face wasn't true, and I got suspended on Facebook for telling people that. And that really burns my biscuits, man. That's censorship. That hurt people. All of these young people did not need to get vaccinated for COVID. Not a single one of them. It just was not something, unless they had some kind of autoimmune problem or immune system problem. Maybe somebody recovering from leukemia and whose immune system was compromised. An individual by individual case basis. If they even got COVID, it could be a problem. Not definitely would be, but you know, when you mandate people to vaccinate for that, and then try to equate it to other vaccine mandates, you know, and on top of that, it's not even a vaccine, it's mRNA technology. They're altering DNA. So that's the main problem I have with it, is mRNA technology. That's not vaccines. That's not a vaccine. They even had to change the definition of vaccine in academia to help sell this nonsense. So anyway, the other big news was Kamala Harris does not have the white population that has no diploma, no college degree, and but I'm here to tell you, I have a college degree and I'm voting for Trump. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's just another way for the media to be racist. They have to make white people look like they don't have college diplomas. And I'm sure we could find thousands of white people that have college diplomas. So anyway, All of these, if you watch the media, you see them spinning. You see them spinning everything. They can't just come out with a solid stat number. They'll come out with a number and they'll say, but this is probably because of this. They throw in their spin, their narrative, their propaganda. How about those numbers are what they are because Kamala sucks and she's not a good candidate. She was not a good pick for vice president. I'm sure there were plenty of other women of color who would have been a much better candidate than what they have with Kamala. She's just not liked. Period. It doesn't matter what race or ethnicity you are, most people don't like her. So, and we're going to see that at the end of the day. Trump is going to win this election. And that is clearly seen at this point. If you turn your TV off and actually look at numbers and stats and crosstabs, that's another big one with the polling, is the crosstabs. Now, New York Times Siena has admitted that they oversample Democrats by 5%. So, when you see the new New York Times Siena poll that came out this weekend, they have Trump ahead by 1 point. They had Kamala ahead by 5 or 6 points like 3-4 weeks ago. So that's how far Kamala has fallen. They can't even cheat for her anymore. So Trump's probably 6 points ahead nationally. And you're never going to win an election with that. In fact, Joe Biden barely won, being ahead in their polling 5% in 2020. And I think those numbers were fudged also. So it's going to be really interesting. I am going to be optimistic but cautious. Don't be over exuberant. Don't think that you've won a damn thing, because we haven't. They're still going to cheat. They're still going to pull their shenanigans. And even after he wins, they're going to try to stop him from being inaugurated. They're going to challenge everything legally. The Democrats, if they should win the House, they're going to try to pass legislation to prevent a convicted person from ever being president. And, you know, because the Constitution doesn't say. It's not mentioned. So it lists what you have to be for criteria, and being a felon isn't one of them to be disqualified. So you know, the Democrats, they always do things like that. That's why they want to get rid of the Electoral College, because, you know, Hillary won the popular vote and she still lost, and they're still seething over that. And I hope Trump wins this time and he wins the popular vote. I don't think that'll happen because of California and New York, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. But you know damn well they're going to try to prevent another Trump from running, and they are going to try to pass legislation banning somebody that's a felon from running for any office. So we'll see where that goes. You know, the way it is right now, somebody that's a convicted murderer can run for office. So I'm not sure if I even want that. But, you know, where does that stop? You know, Trump's a felon because of business record misdemeanors. That shouldn't prevent anybody from running for office. So to reiterate on that, it seems like I see a lot of things online that people aren't clear on. This is what happened, okay? He denies having any kind of thing with Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels actually signed paperwork that said that nothing ever happened between her and Trump. Something happened between her and Trump when she wanted to get money out of it. So it was coming up on an election. She saw an opportunity to get a payday. Well, Trump was having an affair with me. She's going to go to the press with it. Not long before the election with Hillary. So she was paid off. Non-disclosure agreement. It's legal. There's nothing illegal there. Okay, well, the illegality is still not known, because I'll get to that in a minute. Falsifying the business records is a misdemeanor, even if he's guilty of that. So typically that's nothing. Businessmen do that all the time. You had the payment to Stormy Daniels written off as a business expense. That's a misdemeanor offense, not a serious crime at all. It's not fraud. Problem is, New York has legislation that says if you commit one misdemeanor to commit another crime, using one crime to cover up another crime is a felony. So if paying off Stormy Daniels and writing it off as a business expense, putting those two crimes together is a felony, well, one of the higher ups in the DOJ was caught on camera admitting that this is outrageous, it's ridiculous, this trial against Trump shouldn't have been happening, and it's a frivolous case that should never have been brought. So this is somebody that didn't know they were being recorded, that leaked towards the end of this week. So he is on video. He's one of the higher ups to DA Bragg in New York. So he's not some small fry. He says Bragg shouldn't have brought this case. Now, the other thing I had heard, which is true now, I verified it, the DNC had requested that Merchant didn't sentence Trump till after the election, because they don't want to appear like it's interfering with the election is the official excuse. But what it is, from what they said internally that leaked, is that they know this is pushing Trump up in the polls, because the American public is looking at it like it's a political prosecution. They're targeting him intentionally to interfere in the election. And I think the DNC finally realized that it's hurting them, and they asked him not to do that. So, but that case is going to be overturned on appeal. It's going to be thrown out. Now, the other thing, which is what I was telling you about, is that after the election, if Trump wins, they're going to sentence him to jail. Reason being is they think that's going to keep him out of office, which it won't. It won't. He can be sworn in sitting in a jail cell. So that's just a fact of it. And that will happen if they do that. And he's not going to be in a jail cell anyway, because it's a matter of national security. He's the president-elect, former president. Nobody's getting locked up. So this is all a pipe dream to rile their base. And all we care about is the independent voters. And the independent voters don't like what they're seeing the Democrats doing. That's really the bottom line. So I'm pretty damn excited. You should be too. This is a monumentous, historic time in our country's history. If we lose this election, we go backwards. If we win it, we go forward. We'll have peace and prosperity, or we're going to have war and economic destruction. And Trump is going to save this country against great peril to himself personally. He's got skin in the game, personal sacrifice. How can you not love the guy for that? And we all need to stand up for him. We don't worship a king. And all these people on the left are like, man, you're worshiping him like a king, like he's a dictator. Nah, no, he's just a part in the puzzle. We want our country fixed. Our country is broken. So far, he's the only guy with enough cojones to go up against it, and look what they've done to him for it. And everything has been shown to me crystal clear why Trump is the perfect guy. So that is who I am voting for. I am voting for the felon. Which, by the way, he's not a convicted felon until he is actually sentenced. So right now, I think we've had a pretty good walk today, coming up on 4 miles. I'll do the rest of my walking out of here. I want to thank you for walking with me today. Click like and subscribe. This is another one of those foundations. They put these signs up here explaining what these are. This is the site of the Highland Spring and former Highland Spring Bottling Company. Water and soda pop were bottled here for many years. In fact, in 1904, at the St. Louis, or St. Louis if you're English, Saint Louis if you're French, World's Fair, water from this spring won the second place prize for water quality from the entire United States. Highland Spring Bottling was closed in 1970. The bottling company property of 2 acres was purchased by the Bird Club in 1991. So these are pictures of the buildings, and they used to be sitting right here where they used to bottle soda pop and water. Isn't that cool? So I'm glad they finally put these up, explaining what these foundations are, because you've walked with me through here before where I've had to guess, and I knew that this was farmland up here and things were bottled, but now we have more backstory, like the milk bottling one we saw up ahead there, or back there when we were over there. So now we're going to head out of here, and we've got people coming in. We'll come down this way. Got some kids over here. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing a little recording? That's pretty cool.
Yep, I do a lot of recording on my walks. I do about 40 miles a week. I go everywhere.
Outstanding. Nice.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
You too, sir. So, people always notice when you're recording because you got a camera on your head. So anyway, we got a nice history of the Bird Club. And anyway, we'll say goodbye. Thank you very much for walking with me today. And there's my shadow right here. I'll wave goodbye. Thank you for watching, and tune in on my next walk. This was Woods Walk Gun Talk number 28. And enjoy the rest of your week. Watch the debate in 48 hours, less than 48 hours, Tuesday night. And enjoy. It should be a spectacular evening. Bye-bye, everybody.